Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Ai of Online Healing Community. Welcome to Creating Space. I'll be your host once a month on topics related to arts, culture, and community. And tonight, we're going to talk about our ancient script, Baybayin. And we're also going to talk about our guests' well being journey, perfectly embodied in their organization's name, Ginhawa. So tonight's guest is the originator and main facilitator of the Ginhawa Baybayin Creativity Workshop classes. So these classes provide a space for people to rediscover and reconnect to the Filipino ancestral heritage. Our guest also developed and co-created spaces of cultural well-being and creativity through Baybayin for more than a decade. So, friends, please help me welcome Miss Minifred Gavino. So, hello, Ate Mini. Magandang
Hi,
gabi.
magandang gabi Ai. And thank you for the invitation, no? Salamat sa invitasyon para makasama kayo at ang OHC sa inyong creating space, sharing stories and reflections.
Nako, it's definitely our honor and privilege to have one of the Ginhawa facilitators here tonight because like we said during the Kaya Natin to festival, we are only standing on the shoulders of giants because there are many people like you who really are trailblazers and we're just following in the footsteps of people like you, of facilitators like you. So yeah, I'll jump right into it, no? So we can start the discussion. And by the way, for those who are joining us tonight, please do share in the comment section where you're joining us from, and feel free to ask your questions or share your insights related to our topic. Okay, so Ate Mini, one of
Yes.
the interesting anecdotes that you shared during one of our previous conversations was when you were in grade one and you had a vision. You said you had a vision of what you wanted to be in the future. Can you share a bit on that and how you also mentioned your parents' vocations influenced your current role as an artist facilitator?
Okay, thank you Ai. No, napakaganda yung tanong and sa tingin ko rin sa kagaya ng mga nanonood sa atin at saka mga manunood pa nito, no, yung mga basic questions natin kung who are we, no? Who am I and what's my purpose in life? And particularly, what is my talent? Na nakaugnay doon sa tanong mo. Grade 1, lahat ng mga grade 1, may mga mamis na grade 1, no? Maalala ko no, when I was in grade 1, no, yung school namin, meron kaming maluwang siya, hindi siya sementado. Kumbaga, meron kang classroom, tapos meron kang mga punong kahoy. Sa province kasi yun eh. So, isang beses, no, kakatapos ng recess time, pagbalik namin when I went back to the classroom, parang sabi ko, parang feeling ko, nakakahon ako. Parang feeling ako na nasasakal ako sa loob ng classroom, no? Pero we need to go back. We need to study. Kaya napatingin ako, malapit ako sa bintana, sabi ko, paglaki ko, magtuturo ako, no? Pero hindi ko sinabi, I will become a teacher. Pero magtuturo ako, pero hindi lang sa classroom, sa nature din. Tapos, lililim kami sa punong kahoy, titignan namin yung mga insekto. Kumbaga, reflecting right now, no, this story that I remember when I was in childhood, I think it's about for us to be learning the wisdom from nature, from plants, from insects. And I think there are a lot of parents now and even teachers and adults who are really integrating, no, nature in their studies. Kaya, yung ginagawa ko ngayon, bagamat online, kasi nandito tayo ngayon, no, sa sitwasyon na ganito, we allow a space or I facilitate wherein we use our imagination and also at the same time, merong offline session na pwede kang mag-reflect sa labas ng bahay mo kasama yung mga, depende, no, yung kung module natin. So, that's one. Kasi nakita ko yung, sa akin, no, ewan ko, tuwang-tuwa ako kapag nag-aral ako sa kasama ang nature sa dagat, sa bundok, ganyan. And yung parents ko kasi, no, ay, no, sa tingin ko, no, parang naipanganak tayo sa magulang natin dahil sila ang magagabay sa atin sa paglaki, no. Ang nanay ko ay sa scouting siya. And merong mga art sessions, mga overnight camping, and this is in nature. Tapos, yung tatay ko naman into spiritual works. Kaya siguro sa akin na yung mga sessions or programs na hindi lang mo lang ginagawa dahil trabaho mo yun. Pero yung na-imbibe sa akin ng magulang ko, yung merong aspeto ng spirit na that you are also touching that realm of your spirituality as a person. So, kaya sabi ko, balance no? Balance yan, my mother and father na imbibe ko. But I'm also looking or finding that path on my own. Kung ano ba yung expression niya in this time. Sa konteksto ng ako bilang isang Pilipino and also what's going on around us. So, yun yung masasagot ko doon sa unang tanong.
Ayun. So, kumbaga na-integrate mo din yung influence or experience mo mula sa dalawang sa ina mo tsaka sa iyong ama, no, bilang spiritual mentor and then Girl Scout leader. And yun nga, definitely, no, kumbaga ito din yung napaka-interesting na tingnan. Kaya that's why here on Creating Space, we usually ask our guests about their journey because usually it's really connected to, I mean, the life purpose and our life work is really connected with our, our background, with our exposure and everything, all the patterns we experience while growing up. And so definitely kitang-kita 'yon sa iyong ginagawa ngayon. At kumbaga napakaganda kasi mas lalo pang kumbaga na-integrate tapos nagle-level up, nadadagdagan pa. And so going to our next topic, after I mean while you were training or while you were practicing being a teacher, you also explored various workshops and then you went through your own journey. And you also mentioned that there was a period of around 10 years where you've been wanting to learn Baybayin, but you never seemed to get the chance to do so until um, one particular workshop or instance. And even then, sabi mo pa, mas nauna mong naisayaw ang Baybayin kaysa bago mo naisulat ito. So, can you share more about that? Can you walk us through that journey and how that journey also went or ran parallel to your own healing journey, internal process?
Okay, salamat ay, no?
Oo.
Medyo mahaba-haba, parang ilang taon din kung journey yun. Yung isang tanong lang yun, no? I'll try to answer as much as I can na sana ay makapulot din ng ating mga manunood, no, makikinig sa kanilang ding journey, no. Iba-iba yung mga journey natin, no. Merong mga physical, mga mental, may emotional, halo-halo. So sa tingin ko sa akin, it's more of like emotional and also mental. Siguro, no, backstory lang ay, no, I think when I was young, may na-experience ako na I think that's very turning point in my life as 7 years old. No, I saw my father na she's doing a sunrise and sunset ceremony, and that really influenced my life. Sabi ko, that's what I want to do. Hindi ko alam, hindi ko magagap. Pero I think, reflecting now and also when I was in college, when I was teaching, no, sabi ko, gusto ko yung magturo pero may spirit. So I didn't know that it's about a transformational work or transformation well-being. Yung merong nahihipos sa sarili mo, may nagbabago sa sarili mo. Kapag nagtuturo ka, I will not just imparting knowledge, but also in a way, subtle, merong nagbabago sa'yo. Hindi naman kailangan sabihin na may babaguhin sa'yo dahil may mali, pero something na mag-reflect yung tao, na mag-participate dun sa tinuturuan ko. So, with that, napabilang ako sa isang group when I was in college. Medyo backstory pa lang to para merong tayong paghuhugutan. No? Napasama ako sa isang group na around Europe and US to giving performances about Filipino culture through music and dance, inspired by our ancestors or cultural communities. And actually, isa rin itong parang sa manifestation na nais ko na sabi ko, I'll be traveling the world for free after college for 1 year. And lo, behold, it happened for 7 months and 7 days in 7 countries. Ang point ko dito is, during the last performance namin, yung Consul General ng Hawaii, not mistaken, kinausap kami mga college students, sinabi niya, this is the status of our Filipinos here, especially the youth. They have this sort of like a crisis on Filipino identity. Wala silang nababasa sa libro nila tungkol sa kanila. Unlike now, no, meron kang access sa internet. And then she mentioned to us that when you go out and perform, sabi niya ganon, if you can make each note of your songs and each step of your dance give hope to the Filipinos, especially to the youth. Sabi ko, syempre college student ako, nung sabi ni Consul, paano ako mag-give hope habang sumasayaw ako doon? So I went there, it's dark, but in my mind, I'm looking in every eyes of the youth, sending hope with love. I didn't realize that, no? Tapos, I went back to the Philippines. Doon na nagsimula yung parang may invitation sa akin na magbaybayin workshop. Tapos siguro mga 2-3 years, ewan ko hindi natutuloy-tuloy. But after 10 years of that journey coming from the States, bumalik sa akin yung sinabi ng Consul General. Sabi ko, you go beyond what you do. No, there is something beyond that. And then I went back again to the US for another. May sinamahan naman akong cultural group from Ifugao. And then sabi ko, pagbalik ko, bathala, pagbalik ko sa Philippines, gusto ko nang gawin yung nakalaan sa akin bilang isang ako. What's my life purpose? Ano yung particular na talent para sa akin? And then, lo and behold, na-meet ko ang Ginhawa. Yung sa Ginhawa, nagkaroon ako ng like 3 to 5 days and even months session about life work session. So yung life work session, you look at your pattern from childhood to your present life. Ano yung mga hilig mo? Ano yung mga ninanais mong gawin? At doon ko nakita na nahubog yung natutunan ko sa nanay at tatay ko, and also my question of, who am I? What's my purpose here on earth? Alam ko yan, when you were in grade 1, every year yan, tinatanong na parang essay paper, who am I? Di ba? Every year hanggang 4th year. Hindi ko na maalala
I want to be a doctor. Mga ganon. So, when I grow up.
Bumalik din yan, no, at a certain age. And I think, I don't know, pero for me, I speak for myself. I've asked that question in my 30s. And because of that life work session with Ginhawa, naano ko siya, nakita ko na eto pala yung ninanais ko. I want to have a work a life work that is related to spirituality and creativity and put that together. And so yun yung parang bumalik sa akin yung sinabi na Consul General, lahat na nasabi ko, I am in the right path. And yung Baybayin, ano naman pumunta yung Baybayin? Kasi sabi ko, ano ba yung particular na talento ko na nakalaan sa pagsilbi, no? Service to the Filipino people. Dumating si Baybayin, no? At tama, ang nangyari, mas una kong naisayaw. Tapos I don't even know if that is ba or ka, basta feel ko lang, gagalawin nga natin. And unknowingly, sinasabay ko yung breath, ba. And then So, mas madali kong naisulat kasi I think yung learning ko rin bilang isang artist on kinesthetic, no, yung sa galaw. Doon ko mas natutunan, no, bago ko naisulat. Kaya mas madali na lang sa akin yung journey na yan. And few years ago, so basically nung time na nag-life work session ako for 7 years, nag-crash course ako para lang yung kailangan kong malaman sa buhay, mga back subject, na ilagay ko sa isang journey. So, that's how I met Baybayin. And kaya yung mga sessions na ginagawa namin sa Ginhawa ay merong creativity aspect, meron siyang healing, depende no kung anong module. Merong pagninilay, at merong connecting to nature, no, as much as possible. And it is also an integration of mind, body, heart, spirit. So that's the Baybayin, and also on the healing journey siguro, I think it's a subtle way na it's a healing journey, no? Yung pinagdaanan kasi knowing what you really want, sometimes nakikita mo yung ayaw mong makita sarili mo. Ay, ako ba yan? Ay, hindi, ayoko. Kailangan ko bang tignan o tanggapin? So in my process of knowing myself, there are those things that I like and I do not like. And it's in process, no? So sabi ko, pero alam ko na I'm being kind and gentle now to myself for that matter. Yun, and that part. So, do you want me to link now to Baybayin or do you have
siguro ano po, we have some time pa naman before we take a break. So, maybe share a bit about Ginhawa muna, your group. And I mean, of course, for those who are not familiar, what Ginhawa stands for, or kasi 'di ba may ano din to may malalim din na pakahulugan ang Ginhawa, at tas may connection siya sa iba't ibang language like sa Bisaya at yun. So paki-share din po yung tungkol sa Ginhawa.
Okay, thank you. Siguro magandang invite natin si Miss Leia yon kasi journey rin niya, no? Siguro lang para sa ngayong gabi, no, ang Ginhawa ay isang malalim na salita ng ibig sabihin ay marami actually, no? Isa is relief, there's ease and there's comfort, and also there's a breath, no? At yung NGO naman natin ay pinangalan ng Ginhawa, acronym kasi na Growth in Wholeness and Wellbeing Associates. Journey ni Miss Leia kung paano nabuo yung organization. Though wala siyang balak na magkaroon ng organization, but because of her process, she was able to walk her talk hanggang ngayon. And tapos, it's a learning. We're in the process, no? Kasi sabi, ano ba, school ba siya? Or it's a movement? It's a process, actually, all of the above, kung sasabihin natin. But right now, we're doing programs, sessions, integrating the mind, body, heart, spirit, and merong mga for the cognitive part and also for the creative part ng ginagawa namin, and may pagninilay na nakaugat sa Pilipino, and also for universal principle. So perhaps I can share a link to know more about Ginhawa, no? But it's a learning space for individual and for groups. And marami, kumbaga, hindi lang culture, meron din sa emotional, mental, but it's a holistic approach for a program. And yeah.
Nako, kailangan din nating mag-session with Miss Leah para siya naman ang makapagbahagi ng mas malaliman dahil journey niya naman yung ginhawa, no? So, at least may konting background yung ating mga kasama ngayon, no? Tungkol sa ginhawa dahil you're representing ginhawa tonight also.
Yes.
And in terms of, so we're going into Baybayin in a bit, pero bago tayo pumunta doon, meron lang tayong short break. So, pero bago pumunta sa break, iiwan lang namin kayo ng trivia. So, alam nyo ba na bago dumating yung mga Kastila na mga mananakop ay marunong ng magsulat at magbasa ng baybayin ang ating mga ninuno, mapababae man yan o lalaki, noong unang panahon. O, sige, so teaser yon. At mamaya pag-uusapan natin ng ang baybayin pagbalik namin. So, dyan lang po kayo. Huwag kayong aalis.
So we can just help people stay calm and spread calm at this time. And if we can just really lighten the load of everybody, and lalo na with the social distancing that's being done, we kind of feel alone. Even now, we're still on lockdown. And I just want people to know that, guys, you're not alone. Kaya natin to. Together we can do this. That's why we have programs every Tuesday, every Thursday. There's a class or a workshop which is free to the community so everybody can come together.
Here are our programs on personal growth and healing for you.
Okay. So, ayun po. Ngayon, tayo naman ay magkukwentuhan tungkol sa baybayin. So, Ate Mini, pakikwento naman sa amin ang mga kaunting kaalaman. Yung ano lang, patikim lang din kasi syempre may course kayo dyan, no? It's an entire course. Pero patikim na kaalaman tungkol sa baybayin at papaano nakatulong yung mga creativity workshops ninyo on baybayin sa mga participants in making sense of their own individual and collective experiences.
Okay, maraming salamat ulit, Ai, for the invitation and to OHC at saka sa lahat ng mga nakikinig. Thank you for being here with us. Okay, sige. Ang baybayin, no, isang salita na mahanap dito sa ating bansa na may iba-ibang ibig sabihin, no? At isa na dito ay yung ating katutubong sulat, no, particular sa Katagalugan at meron din sa iba-ibang bansa. So pre-colonial writing system. So napakaganda, no, na makita natin na meron tayong sulat at ang babae, lalaki, bata, matanda ay may kalayaan, no, na magsulat. So sa tingin ko, no, sabi ko, ano kaya kung lahat tayo, ang writing system na natin ngayong baybayin, no? Ano kaya mangyayari sa atin, no? Isa sa parang, ano kaya, what will happen, no, to us if will be our writing system at the present. So, 10 taon na, more than 10 years, ang aming pagpapadaloy, no, facilitating baybayin workshop classes in Ginhawa. And so far, we observe that it has been helpful in their journey. So for example, no, kasi madali lang matutunan ng baybayin eh. Pwede kang mag-check sa internet, nakasulat ka na. Pero sa Ginhawa, ang ginagawa namin, pinapalawak at pinapalalim, ini-integrate namin yung ibang well-being modules and also creativity in it. So, for example, one IT professional who came to our class several years ago, ang kanyang experience ay, sabi niya, pumunta lang ako dito para matutong magsulat. Pero alam kong close ako sa nanay ko eh. Pero dahil sa session, hindi ko alam. Pero bakit parang mas lumalapit ako sa aking nanay. At dahil doon, gusto kong makilala yung kanyang kultura. And also, I would like to know more who am I about my culture through my mother. So that's one, no? At meron naman recently, I think few years ago, exclusive school na sabi ng mga estudyante, "Teacher, bakit tayo natututo ng isang Asian script? Merong parang required sa kanila sa curriculum. Eh, Pilipino naman tayo, bakit hindi natin pag-aralan ng baybayin? Sige na teacher, please, mag-aral tayo ng baybayin." So, yung mga teachers naghanap ng mga, nag-search sila internet at kami ngayong pumunta sa kanila. And these young people that they are, we integrate program with love and self and culture. So meron na exclusive for girls, no? Na yung module na binigay sila is about love for self and culture. Kasi mga ano to eh, mga teenagers. So ibang module naman. Iba-iba, bata, matanda, iba-iba yung ginagawa namin sa kanila. So for them, this high school students, it was an eye-opener for them. And they remembered some of the pangaral that they heard from their elders in the course of the Baybayin classes. Siguro ang isa rin no, na gusto kong mabanggit dito, kahit sino pwedeng sumali dito sa Baybayin course. Filipino, Filipino-Americans, kung sakaling hindi ka marunong, we will translate that. At merong isang lawyer no, na kaibigan natin na nag-attend ng workshop ng Baybayin pagbalik niya sa Philippines. Kasi sabi niya, she was visiting a conference. I'm not sure if it was in Europe or in US. And may mga bonding time after the conference. May isang taga-Greece na sinulat niya yung pangalan niya sa kanilang language. At saka very proud. Tapos sabi ng lalaki, "Oh, how about you? Do you have also a writing script in the Philippines?" Etong lawyer, no, sabi niya, alam kong meron eh. Pero hindi ko alam kung paano. Sana yun na yun yung chance for me of a learned and good in English. Pero hindi ko alam. Kaya nung pagbalik niya no, sa Philippines, nag-aral siya ng baybayin sa GINHAWA. So there are different courses, and for this coming August and September, it's a 3-day workshop session na mula umaga hanggang hapon. At sa umaga, meron tayong invited na resource speaker, no? Pakikinggan natin yung kanilang expertise, and then there's a sit work or assignment. In the afternoon, we will be sharing our mga sinulat and also Q&A. Yun. So, meron, do you want me to continue or what else? Ay, flow lang tayo.
So, kumbaga tama ba? Tatlong sessions yon na magkakahiwalay? Tapos, may space
Yes,
in between para...
It's a 4-week long session para may time to reflect and a time also to digest what have been learned. Oo.
Sino nga po yung mga makakasama ninyo? At parang may ibang, di ba? May iba ding resource person.
Yes, for the first day, ang ating magiging topic for the first day is Baybayin, Baybayin, history, and my story. So what will happen, ang mangyayari dito ay titignan natin yung kasaysayan ng Baybayin. At the same time, titignan natin yung ating kasaysayan. Ano ba yung mga elements ng kasaysayan? How to look at it na parang tama yung sinasaysay natin sa buhay. At the same time, titignan din natin yung personal stories natin at saka kasaysayan natin bilang isang tao. At paano ito marirelate sa bigger history of the Philippines and also integrating it to Baybayin. Kami ni Miss Leia ang magiging main facilitators, artists for the whole day for the processing. But for day 1, we have invited Dr. Nestor Castro. Isa siyang professor sa University of the Philippines at ibabahagi rin niya ng kasaysayan ng baybayin at saka sa kanyang mga pag-aaral tungkol dito. And we will also tackle on the elements of baybayin. So, history of baybayin, kasaysayan ng baybayin for day 1, broadening our understanding of history, pagpapalawig ng pag-unawa ng kasaysayan, and narrating your life story. Yung mga participants na to ng Kalahok. So, pagsasaysay ng kwento ng buhay. Kasi tingnan natin yung kahalagan ng mga kwento natin na, ako lang to, walang saysay yan sa bigger story or history of life, so to speak. So, meron yun. Ang pangalawa, day 2, ang first day pala is August 15, no, Ai? Tapos, ang second
Umaga
day
po
is umaga hanggang hapon, pero may time to parang kumbaga offline, online class and offline. Yun. So, ang date natin will be on August 29. Ang topic natin will be Baybayin, Art, and Creativity. Parang sabihin natin, hindi naman ako creative, hindi ako artist. Siguro yun yung kailangan, yun yung ninanais ko ring i-share, no, sa mga participants na lahat tayo ay may kakayahan lumikha. At yun ang titignan natin kung paano lumabas. Usually gano'n, no, ay on the first day. Pero pagdating ng third day, sabi namin, drawing mo yan. Opo, hindi ko nga akalain na nakaka-drawing ako ng ganito. O nakakatula ako ng ganito. O nakakasayaw ako. Kasi on the second day, malaya kang gumamit ng sarili mong medium ng inyong paglikha sa second day. Ang ating invited guest naman dito is Miss Ange Vicerel. Isa siyang guro sa St. Benil, the Arts and Design Department, na para mga 10 to 15 years na siyang pinag-aaralan about Philippine arts, culture, and healing. At sinama niya ang baybayin sa kanyang pagtuturo at saka sa kanyang mga research studies. At saka ang highlights natin sa day 2, no? We identify the elements of art, pagtutukoy sa mga elemento ng sining, and there's a space for art appreciation, pagpapahalaga sa sining. And of course, ito lilikha tayo dito. So, don't worry, no artistic, hindi nyo kailangan maging artist o nag-aral ng arts para sumali dito. Anybody. And we will facilitate on how you can express your own art on day 2. And of course, we also touch Filipino culture and your creativity. And there's a space for art and healing. So ito na yung aspeto na mayroong paghihilom na intention. No? Sisimulan natin ang day 2. Yun. At ang day 3 naman, that will be on September 12, ang highlights natin dito ay is remapping your life adventures. So, titignan natin, ano ba yung, with this happening, no, nasa four corners tayo ng bahay natin. Parang, how do I remap my life adventures? Na integrating baybayin, integrating culture, me being a Filipino, yun. And also, we find the compass from within. Ano ba yung compass natin? Hindi natin alam, no? Yung sa panahon ngayon, medyo uncertain tayo sa mga bagay-bagay. So, how do we have that compass within us? Ano yung paghuhugutan natin in finding direction, integrating baybayin, and also healing, and also kung ano man yung magiging process natin sa the whole baybayin workshop. And lastly, from personal stories to connecting communities. So after that, looking at yourself, okay na, alam ko na yung kwento ko, buhay ko, life purpose. Ano ngayon? What does it has to do with my family or even my community and even my society, no, sa Philippines. So, tinitignan natin yung kwento natin na perhaps ganito kaliit. Yung ginagawa natin kung ano yung gift natin sa mundo. Ito yung contribution natin para magkaroon ng mas, sabihin natin, better world, better life with our community.
Wow.
Yes, Annie.
So yun na po yung kabuuan no ng workshop. Kung nagtataka kayo bakit dinetalye namin yung pag-uusap tungkol dun sa workshop, talagang pina-share ko kay Miss Mini kung anong mangyayari at para alam ng mga tao anong i-expect dun sa mga at least interesado or baka magka-interest kayo kung malaman nyo yung detalye. Kasi minsan, di ba, makikita natin, creativity classes. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Anong mangyayari dun sa four sessions, 5 sessions na iyon, no? And napakaganda nung design, no, for me. Kasi it's not just going within and, looking into your own life story, but also coming out again and looking into what our contribution can be, no, to the world, knowing our gifts and understanding ourselves better, honing our creativity. For me, it's a very beautiful, kumbaga, design journey. And yeah, that's very interesting. And I hope those who are watching would also be interested to join. Ako personally ay nakilala ko din ang Baybayin noong 2013 through Ginhawa and sina Kuya Leo, no, another group called Sanghabi. And what made me more interested about Baybayin is the idea that these are not, kumbaga, these are not merely symbols na, kumbaga, mukha siyang heart na baligtad, yung ba, parang ganyan. No, these represent something, and these can also explain our identity and our psyche as our ancestors, how our ancestors saw the world or perceived the world. So for example, yung characters for Bathala, 'di ba? Ito, guhit ito ni Mini, Bathala. So tama ba, Mini? For two of those, or would you like to be the one to share that? Nung
Sige,
nalaman ko yung nire-represent. So sabi dito, kasi binili ko yung libro nila, yung symbols for Bathala. So the first one on top, that's Ba. So it actually looks like, diba, the female womb. So it represents more of the feminine energy and nurturing energy. And then in between is Ha. So ako ay associate that with Ha, the breath of life which connects everything. And then the last one is La. So it looks more of like the organ, the male organ, right? So that just shows na kung ngayon yung current in terms of our language and our prayers, for example, kunyari sa Catholic Church, we call God Father, di ba? It's more male, or kung others would call it patriarchal. But in the worldview of our ancestors, Bathala, or the supreme being, actually possess both the divine, kumbaga, feminine and masculine qualities. And for me, that was, wow, an aha moment. Kasi lalo na, I also worked in, for women's empowerment in the past. So talagang very affirming for me na, our ancestors thought that way. And even, di ba, yung sa salita natin, we don't have specifics for male or female. Siya, ako, tayo, ganun. Walang he or she. So meaning, talaga, there's really equality, oneness. And that's how interesting the study of our culture and the worldview of our forebears could be. Kaya ako, I'm excited about things like Baybayin, and then learning more about our history. And I remember during that session, Mini, di ba, that when we met in 2013, it was healing through movement, yung session. And Ginhawa taught us some movements from the Cordillera that was healing, and then some integrated with Baybayin movements. And what was so interesting for me was another session on the same day was done by a eurythmist, or eurythmy is a healing modality from the anthroposophic na school, no? It's movement based na therapy. So based on sounds, sounds, symbols, sounds of certain letters. So each sound has a certain quality. And what was so interesting for me was the movement nung sinayaw ni Namini, yung movement for ba, similar siya sa movement ng eurythmy for ba. And ba is usually the movement used or given by eurythmists to cancer patients, because most often for cancer patients, they need more of the nurturing energy. And yeah, so ganun, very interesting kasi magkaibang kultura, pero same yung expressions, no? And so we can just see na everything is, there's oneness. So, wala lang. Na-share ko lang din, no? Kasi, sometimes there's a tendency nga to look at, for example, Baybayin, just as surface level na parang, okay, reading and writing Baybayin. Yun yung matututunan mo if you join a workshop on Baybayin. But it's actually more than that, based on my own experience. So yeah, that's how interesting Baybayin is. And so, ikaw, Mini, baka meron ka pang baka may na-remember ka or may gusto ka pang idagdag tungkol sa Baybayin or mga classes niyo?
Natuwa ako dun sa narinig ko sa inyo kasi kumbaga ngayon ko lang narinig yung feedback. I think nabanggit mo na rin, no? Na yun yung effect sa'yo nito. At yun nga, yung kumbaga, yung Baybayin simpleng, it could be, no, sa kanila, ito yung sulat, no? Pinapayaman natin at maganda ring tignan na yung kultura natin sa kultura ng hindi naman sa iba na yung kasi yung ibang sulat din sa Pilipinas o sa Asia, magkakamag-anak din yan sabi ng ating expert, no? Sa tingin ko itong magandang tignan na parang na tignan natin yung ito o atin nga, tignan din natin yung sa kalapit bayan. Ano yung parang kumbaga it's a study na ano ba yung common sa atin? Ano ba yung magkakaiba? And how we can bridge, build friendship, no? Rather na nag-aaway. Kasi for example, even yung paggamit ng X or plus, no? Ang daming marang kilala, ma'am, sa amin, bakit sa inyo hindi kasi sa amin kasi sa Ginhawa, we present what was during Spanish and now. So we will give you the freedom, ang kalayaan na pumili sa tingin nyo na magagamit niyo. Ayaw ko na ako bilang isang Pilipino, kung ano yung ginawa ng mga Spaniard sa atin na namilit, na huwag gamitin to, gamitin. Ayaw ko rin mamilit na, ay, eto dapat ang gamitin nyo. Ay, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin to. We present you what are the facts, no matter how hurtful. Alam kong nakaraan yan, bibit-bitin ko ba? Nasa tao na rin yan kung anong gusto. Kaya kung minsan, kikita ko yung sa, gamitin ko po to. Eto sa akin, maggumawa ng ngala ko ng ibang canceling out. So, that's their process and respect. And I think respecting the individuality of each. At kung ihambing natin yung mga tao sa bawat karakter, may mga kanya-kanyang personality. And it would be nice that each personality of each person, of each character, it would be nice to embrace that, to value that. At malay mo that differences will let you be more strong in kung ano yung pagkakaparehas is a space for celebration, no? rather than for fighting. So, doon sa courses natin sa Baybayin, akala ko pupunta lang ako mag-lesson 1, 2, 3, pero it's beyond my expectation. No? Sabi ko kasi ito yung process ko na natuto ako, pero I know they're beyond that we can integrate na parang mas creative, actually sa totoo lang, meron kaming isang session, no? Training that Baybayin teachers training. We never mention first day 2 days yan, morning pa lang, we never mention about spirituality, but lunchtime, pumunta. 3 of them were talking already about spirituality that they've been. Sabi ko, Miss Leia, mas marami ba tayo? Parang wala naman ata. So, I think, yun din yung hinihipo na pag hinahanap yung creativity mo, actually, hinahanap yung spirituality mo eh. And also, if you're looking for spirituality, ano yung expression yan? Comes your creativity. No, hindi nanggaling sa akin yan, pero isang quote yun na sa tingin ko, siguro nga, may mga naririnig kami, hindi lang sa amin, no? Parang mga into those going to religious journeys. Yun pala, creativity na. Tsaka merong isang magulang, no? Sabi niya, first day pa lang, nasagot na yung tanong ko. Kasi she wanted, meron na siyang green card ata sa US, pero hindi niya tinanggap. And sabi ng anak niya, don't you regret that, mommy, that you didn't accept it? So, through the years, nandun pa rin yung tanong. Pero nung nakuha niya yung first day class ng Baybayin, sabi niya, eto na yung sagot. I don't regret not taking that green card. Pero sa kanya yun, process niya yun, no? Pero ibang tao siguro talagang kinakailangan for family, no? Mga siguro para ihahon sa kahirapan. But for her, sabi niya, I have a contract between this land, the Philippines. Yun. So sa kanya, dun nasagot dun sa session na yun. Iba-iba, merong malalim, iba may umiiyak, may iba hindi umiiyak. Depende kasi sa tama ng isang tao. Yung isa rin, no, isang nanay, sabi niya, umiiyak na siya. Sabi ko, wala naman akong sinabi kasi siguro, siya, na yung question lang siguro nahipo, sabi niya, I would like to share po, Miss Mimi, I'm a single mom. Siguro hindi niya pa siguro in process siya doon sa kanyang kwento, no. And then I'm just so happy po na nandito ako sa profession to really take care of children. Kaya I'm just so happy with my state of being right now, having my child and taking care of other children also. So, yun. Kaya po, it's not just about Baybayin, but it's about you, your story, your past, present, and your future.
True. Saka para dun sa mga nagtataka, ano bang connection ng Baybayin sa healing? Kasi online healing community tayo. So meron din po tayong tinatawag na may journey and process of decolonization. Kagaya nung sinabi ni Miss Mini na sabi nung consul earlier, madami pong nagkakaroon ng dilemma or minsan crisis tungkol sa identity nila. And minsan it's connected with their identity as a Filipino ba or yung mga roots nila. So ito pong pag-aaral ng Baybayin at iba pong mga history na hindi na isulat or hindi na isama sa mainstream textbooks natin. Ito po yung parte din ng pagkilala natin sa ating identity bilang tayo or based sa identity ng mga ninuno natin, worldview at way of living bago pa dumating yung mga mananakop. Kasi nung dumating yung mga mananakop, although not to demonize them, because that's really part and parcel of our story now and our identity. But along the way then madaming na strip off sa atin in terms of our spirituality, I mean our spiritual practices, our systems of government, our perception, our worldview. So yun yung unti-unting kinikilala uli ng mga current and future generations. Kasi that's also part of kung yung mga shamans pa, old shamans, yung tinatawag nilang soul retrieval, pag kilala sa mga different facets ng ikaw bilang ikaw, ikaw bilang Pilipino, ikaw bilang babae, ikaw bilang kumbaga guro or kung ano pa man yan. Siyempre, andyan yung ultimate identity natin as spiritual beings, no? Pero siyempre may mga iba-iba din tayong facets na bit-bit at roles sa buhay. So, yun po. And yung process of decolonization, that's what we also call as cultural healing or lalo na nakakatulong ito lalo na para mas lalo nating maintindihan din ang ating mga kapatid na lumad at mga iba-ibang grupo kasi yun din na-demonize din yung identity at masyadong naging inferior yung treatment natin sa sarili nating lengguwahe, sa sarili nating kultura dahil dun sa hundreds of years ng colonization na yun. So, yun ang connection niya sa healing. And yun na po, babasahin ko lang din pala yung mga naging comment ng ating mga manunood. So, merong nagsabi na napakaganda daw po ng inyong process ng teaching. Oops, sorry. Karen, pwede ba nating pull up? Biglang nag-sound off yung aking laptop. Basta si Jenny, sabi niya napakaganda daw po ng process niyo ng teaching. Si Jenny ay isang artist din po, nagtuturo din siya ng calligraphy. Tapos, meron nagsabi na I miss going to Ginhawa. At merong mga nagpapasalamat din po sa mga naituro at napag-usapan ngayong gabi. Ayan, si Manggagawang pwedeng may kakayahan, PWD may kakayahan. Salamat po sa pagsusulong ng Baybayin, Miss Minnie. Mayroon po kaming damit at porcelas na baybayin na gawa niyo po. Oh, di ba?
Oh, wow!
So, ayan. So, wala na po bang ibang mga comments at katanungan? Ayan, si Kay, I miss going to Ginhawa. Si Fanny, stars yung mata niya. Ito, sila din yung mga kasama nating nag-join din sila one time. Nag-try akong mag-share tungkol sa baybayin. Sila din yung mga nag-join. So, din, namangha din sila sa baybayin. So, ayun po, Ate Minnie, baka pwede nyo naman po kaming i-lead sa isang meditation or reflection or creative experience to wrap up our interview.
Okay. Pwede ba tayong tumayo lang? Tumayo kahit nakikita nyo yung off-screen. Parang stretch lang. Tumayo tayo. Kaya ba?
Mawawala ako sa screen. Upo muna ako, mawawala ako sa screen.
Sige. Yung mga nakatayo, ganito lang gawin nyo. Breathing lang, taas, breathing in, and breathing out. And breathing in, and breathing out. One more time. Pahingang papasok. Pahingang palabas. Okay, do that for 2 more times on your own. Pahingang papasok. Pahingang palabas. Pahingang papasok. Pahingang palabas. You can continue closing your eyes, or if you have a pen and paper, okay. Susulat nyo lang. Kung meron lang pero kung wala, you can just continue to imagine this just imagine this. So we write, there are many things, maraming bagay na pagpapasalamat natin sa buhay. There are many things that we are grateful for, give gratitude. And in the workshop, we also do that, space for gratitude. So isulat natin salamat sa baybayin, pahingang papasok, pahingang palabas. Pahingang papasok, pahingang palabas. Pahingang papasok, pahingang palabas. So, baliktad pala, no? Okay lang kahit baliktad. Basta salamat pa rin yan. So, I would like you to isulat nyo lang ng paulit-ulit ng salamat as you focus on your breath. Or yung mga hindi nakapagsulat, just close your eyes and just think of those things that you are grateful for. And as you do that for a minute, I will play the music for you. It's a serenade. So at this point, for a minute, lahat ng mga pinagpapasalamat natin sa buhay, sa ating sarili, at saka sa mga kapatid nating katutubo o sa cultural communities at sa mga nangangailangan ng a sense of a gratefulness and gratitude. Isipin lang natin yan. Habang kayo ay nagsusulat ng salamat sa baybayin o di kaya sa inyong tahimik na paghinga while I play the serenade. Salamat. Salamat sa biyaya ng buhay. Salamat sa baybayin. Salamat sa mga kwento, karanasan at paglalakbay. Salamat. Let's take a good deep breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Pahingang papasok. Pahingang palabas. Salamat.
Maraming salamat po ulit, Ate Minnie. And meron po ba kayong final words before we say goodbye?
Final word. Salamat sa lahat ng mga nanonood at nakikinig ngayon at mga manunood pa. Bawat kwento ng ating buhay ay isang espasyo ng pagninilay, isang espasyo ng kaginhawaan. Kung kaya, be gentle and try to embrace your life. At patuloy na magbaybay at magbaybayin. Yun lang po. Thank you so much, Ai, and for Karen and to
Wow.
OHC.
Maraming salamat din po, Ate Mini, para sa mga ibinahagi mo ngayong gabi. And thank you to everyone who joined us tonight and those who will join us in the future. We hope that you also learn more or gain more insights in relation with Baybayin, our culture, or yourself. So, um, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and catch Karen next week for Creating Space, where she will be interviewing the person who started the community pantry movement. So Miss Patreng Non. So that's July 27, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. So hope you can join us, whether live or through the recordings. And have a pleasant evening, everyone. Magandang gabi sa lahat.